Alright everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about mythics, which ones are absolutely necessary, kind of optional, and pretty useless. So I'm going to be completely honest with you. A lot of the new mythics in the game, like Loki, the bear, or not the bear, this is the bear, Thor, I think. I don't really know too much about them. I don't even have them. I haven't really even seen gameplay video. I'm kind of just going purely off of what I've seen them used in like higher level setup. So I think before we get started, I kind of got to clarify the absolute best mythics that the game is like the entire meta is kind of centered around, right? You have Amaterasu, best overall damage dealer, does a ton of damage, global damage, right? You can put her in the back and she'll shoot out the bird, fire, whatever. And King in Yellow lets Amaterasu do damage to any element in the game. So basically these two together lets you kind of just insert in absolute DPS pump, brute force into any level. And beyond that, of course, Horus, very important. Second speed buff, right, can help boost utility up front, help boost damage, all that good stuff. Speed boost is just really good because it boosts utility and it boosts damage, so that's pretty cool. Then of course Anubis, right, big damage multiplier, gonna let Amaterasu burn damage, I think do 25 times more damage, but all the normal attacks and stuff 5 times more damage. Let stuff like Devon and Death Bite one-shot enemies if Anubis marks them. So Anubis is also super important as well, really good in the end game for doing big damage against enemies. And of course gonna combo nicely with Horus, getting that speed buff to be able to cast a little bit more. I will put Ra in absolutely necessary as well, because you can't beat IQT if you don't have Ra. It's just that simple, right? Ra doesn't really contribute anywhere else. I see some people put it in the farming setups, right? I put it in the farming setups too. But to be honest, the difference that Ra makes there is really not that much compared to the difference he makes in IQT. You need Ra to beat IQT. Pretty hard to get past wave 3 without him, just because IQ2 fairies freeze your units, and if your units are frozen, even if they're strong, they can't do anything. So these are kind of the 5 that I think the metagame is really centered around, and I guess you can toss Jiraiya in there too. Jiraiya going to be really good for farming, going to have huge range, huge slows, right? Good utility, good damage, all that good stuff. Going to help you beat levels or beat waves a lot faster, as well as providing solid utility in the end game. And yeah, honestly, that's the 6 that I think are most necessary. I might add in some more there, but now going on to pretty good optional units, I guess. I would say Zeus. I might have used to put Zeus in the absolutely necessary portion, but Zeus was originally like the main IQT carry, but as you see up on the list, you can Amaterasu, King in Yellow, brute force through it. Probably pop in something like a Devon or a Death Bite comboed with the Anubis to do massive damage as well. So that's kind of the meta now. That's kind of the setup that's applicable to all the endgame levels, and so Zeus is kind of outclassed there. But Zeus does still have pretty good stun, does have pretty good damage in IQT if you don't have King in Yellow and Amaterasu to absolutely brute force it. Does provide good utility. I kind of said that before. Zeus also combos nicely with units such as Sluggy or Jiraiya, because he applies a pretty fast refreshing stun from his attack, and combo with the slows from these two units is pretty strong overall. So Zeus pretty good, but overall optional, right? Susanoo also really important. I would say more so for the auto clicker players, because in setups that do require rock resummons, you can pop Susanoo in there and kind of keep it a little bit more automated. You might be sacrificing 1 or 2 waves or a couple enemies, but in exchange you can kind of just leave the setup running by itself, because Susanoo auto refreshes the rocks and makes the situation a whole lot easier to manage. I guess also optional units, right? Hanzo is I'm pretty sure that's the name. I don't know, I forgot the name, but whatever this thing is, she has global damage that can help you speed up your classic level farming setup in JR a little bit more. So pretty good, but again, optional. You don't need it for that endgame levels. I guess a little bit more debated as far as any debate in Summoner's Creed goes, but Moby pretty good optional, because Moby is a good carry for the what's it called? The Pirate Cat levels. So if you want to absolutely destroy your mythic rates on your accounts and make it a lot less likely to get any of these good mythics that I'm showing, go play Pirate Cats and go use Moby as the main DPS carry. That way you can get the buffing Pirate Cats here. I think these are 3. They can help you get to really high buffs because they buff like diagonally, vertically. At least 2 of these do. And yeah, you know, that's kind of why you play Pirate Cats. But aside from that, let's move on to the Blue Draco. Blue Draco provides decent utility, I guess decent alternative damage in Volcano Goddess, but yeah, just decent stun utility, I guess. This Cosmic Draco, pretty good as a alternative carry in the Cosmic levels. Again, if you don't have access to the broken meta King and Yellow Amaterasu combo, also pretty good in the Elemental levels with kind of the same idea. Yeah, just it's alternative DPS basically if you don't have the best combo in the game. Same kind of, at least what I've seen, same kind of with Loki, Thor, and I think Odin, the bear, whatever. I've seen these 3 kind of tossed around in alternative DPS setups for Elemental levels. Of course, comboed with King and Yellow as well. They can't really compete with Amaterasu in pure damage output. And they're definitely, like, if this was a tier list, they wouldn't belong in the same tier. Loki would be a lot higher. But I've kind of just seen these 3 used together, mainly Loki in alternative DPS setups, IQT, KPR mainly. But, you know, if you don't have Amaterasu, you can experiment around with them. Definitely going to be a lot less effective, but they're not totally useless, I would say. Next up, I guess, is kind of a lot of useless mythics. So Bastet, really bad stun. Can't stun a lot of the endgame enemies because she doesn't have an element. Even if you have King and Yellow, it's probably just a lot better to put in a better utility unit. You know, Global Slow from Jiraiya, hell, even a Sluggy, Zeus to stun, or, you know, something like Anubis or whatever to damage buff. The Bastet area group charm is just not really going to outclass any of those in the endgame. She doesn't have the most amazing damage, not super good, and just all around kind of a disappointing unit. Same kind of with the Siren, and I'm gonna just drop in. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm gonna be honest. This Turtle guy, I've also kind of seen him use as alternative DPS, mainly in a KPR setup I saw from, I think his name is Nuth in the Underground Discord. So, you know, I guess I'll drop him in pretty good optional. Anything that kind of has plausible alternative DPS is pretty good and optional, I guess, if they don't serve anything else. Yeah, cool. All of these new mythics, I've not really seen them use in anything at all. Probably don't have the greatest uses, honestly. I have no idea how their gameplay works, but I just haven't seen them in any setups. I haven't seen them outclass anything. Didn't really cause a big shift in the meta as well. Kraken, again, similar to Siren, or Siren is also just like bad, what's it called? Bad CC as well. But Kraken is just a inferior carry to Moby in the Pirate Cat levels, and you're not going to use him anywhere else. Because if you're outclassed by Moby, you're definitely getting outclassed by like even a Loki or something. So that's that. Cthulhu, again, bad cosmic damage. Shup, also pretty bad cosmic damage. I think she kind of functions similarly to Loki, but I made a lag machine with her once, but that's about the only thing interesting that she can do. Same with these Dracos, I'm pretty sure, just bad DPS. Artemis, bad DPS. And now we've got on to Hades and Poseidon. They've kind of seen bigger shifts in use, again, because better alternative DPS has shown up, like the Purple Draco or the Loki and all these other random new mythics. But Hades used to be main DPS in KPR, then Amaterasu came around, and now he's alternative DPS. And now there's even better alternative DPS in King and Yellow combos with like Loki and whatnot. So Hades is really not going to be the most significant unit. Like for all the Greek gods, the damage buff passive they have is not that great. And Hades is, yeah, just used to be pretty good, but kind of outclassed now, right? Power creep. You can probably run him maybe as a KPR carry, but there are a lot better options to play KPR. Poseidon, really the best Poseidon and Poseidon got was alternative or supplementary DPS, I would say, in Volcano Goddess with Jiraiya. But now that there are charms out, and again, power creep and King and Yellow combos, and just better units, better, stronger setups, I guess, you don't really need the supplementary DPS from Soul Sidon anymore. And so you're not really going to see him anywhere else because he's not an amazing DPS unit, right? The AoE and the damage is outclassed by a lot of other stuff. But this is pretty much my kind of opinion on mythics, right? I would try and get the yellow ones, the pretty good optional ones, just because they might have some use. You can maybe have some fun experimenting around with them. I guess that goes for the pretty useless stuff too, but you know, they can be good. I would probably prioritize, I don't know what word I just said, prioritize Susanoo a little bit more, just because it helps automate stuff. If you have an auto clicker, I myself, you know, I play with auto clicker a lot, so that's kind of important to me. Red units, absolutely necessary. You know, they're absolutely necessary, right? If you want to 100% the game, beat all the levels, you got to get these guys. They're very, very important and pretty useless, So that's pretty much my idea on all the mythics. There's probably a couple of mid tiers I could have added. This is kind of just a general 3-split of everything, and have fun rolling for these. Thank you for watching. Yeah, that's pretty much it. See ya.